story began, as we told before, with whispers in the shadows of the music industry. Whispers of a man who rose from Harlem streets to the top of global charts. A man who built an empire on beats, business, and branding. Yet behind the lights, behind the diamond chains and red carpets, there was always another side. In the last script, we walked through the rise, the mogul's power, the way Sean Combs, P-diddy, Puff Daddy, Love, reinvented himself time and again, outlasting scandal after scandal. We traced the empire he built, the smoke and mirrors that protected him, the image of untouchability that wrapped around his name. But power doesn't exist in a vacuum. Power feeds, power consumes. And so tonight, we shift the lens. Away from the bright stage lights, away from the Grammy wins and Forbes lists. We turn instead toward the people who say they were left in the shadows of his empire. People whose voices were buried beneath lawyers, settlements, and threats. People who say they carry scars that never healed. It is the story of the people who claim to have been trapped inside it. The survivors of P-diddy. And in this script, we will walk one by one through their stories. The women, the men, the forgotten, the silenced. Those who say that behind the music, behind the mogul, there was something far darker. The lights are off now. The cameras are gone. The stage is empty, and the only voices left are theirs. Chapter 1, the first crack in the glass. It began in silence. For years, nobody dared to speak against Sean Combs. He was too powerful, too connected. But in November 2023, the silence broke. A courthouse filing in New York carried a name the world already knew. Cassie Ventura, the singer who once stood by Diddy's side, his girlfriend, his protege. The complaint was more than legal paperwork. It was a grenade. Inside its pages were words that shocked even the most jaded industry insiders. Rape, sex trafficking, years of abuse. Cassie accused Combs of controlling her life with violence, of forcing her into drug-fueled encounters, of beating her when she tried to leave. The world held its breath. For decades, rumors about Diddy had drifted like smoke, but now the fire was visible. In May 2024, security footage leaked to the public, a Los Angeles hotel hallway. Cassie walks out, calm but hurried. Diddy follows, eyes burning with rage. He lunges, grabs her by the neck, slams her to the ground and kicks her while she lies defenseless. The tape was brutal, undeniable. For the first time, the world saw with its own eyes what Cassie had claimed. And the man once untouchable was suddenly touchable. Chapter 2, the floodgates. Cassie's courage and that chilling footage opened the floodgates. One lawsuit became many. One name became dozens. Across New York, California, Michigan, and beyond, filings began to appear. Some bore the names of women we would come to know. Others hid behind the anonymity of Jane Doe. Each case told a variation of the same story. Drugs slipped into drinks. Studio sessions that turned into traps. Parties where the lights went out and the cameras turned on. Promises of stardom exchanged for silence and compliance. There was Thalia Graves, who claimed she was drugged and raped inside Combs' studio in 2001, her assault recorded on tape. There was Dawn Richard, former member of Danity Kane, who alleged trafficking and abuse tied to her time under Diddy's watch. There was Anna Kane, who says she was just a teenager when she was lured into a world of exploitation and violence. And there were many more, models, assistants, producers, some who came forward with their real names, others who chose anonymity. Each voice added weight. Each lawsuit built the picture prosecutors had long ignored. And yet, through his lawyers, Combs denied it all. He called the claims lies. He said he was being extorted. He said he was innocent. But the pattern was undeniable. Chapter 3, the empire cracks. The allegations weren't just words in court filings anymore. They began bleeding into the fabric of Combs' empire. Brands distanced themselves. Business partners cut ties. His music legacy, once celebrated, was now under a shadow. And then came the moment that shifted the story from civil courts to criminal prosecution. Sean Combs pleaded not guilty. His attorney said the government was overreaching, that the case was built on opportunists chasing money. But the indictment was clear. Prosecutors believed they had the evidence to prove a decades-long pattern of abuse. And suddenly, the man who once seemed larger than life was facing something even he couldn't control: the justice system. Chapter 4. The hidden tapes. Behind the lawsuits, another ghost lurked: the tapes. Several women described the same chilling detail, that their assaults weren't only committed, they were recorded. Cameras in hotel rooms, hidden equipment in studios, phones seized by security before anyone could leave. Victims said those tapes became weapons, a means of control. A reminder that if they spoke, if they resisted, there would be evidence, twisted evidence, turned against them. One lawsuit alleged that Combs kept a vault of these recordings. Another suggested that select associates had access, circulating them like contraband. Prosecutors hinted at the same in their filings, pointing to digital evidence seized in raids. To the public, this sounded like conspiracy theory. To survivors, it was confirmation of the nightmare. And to Diddy, he denied it all. His lawyers claimed there were no tapes, no vault, no conspiracy. But the accusations remained, hanging in the air like smoke that wouldn't clear. The world began to wonder, if these tapes were real, how many lives had they trapped? Chapter 5. Dawn of the Band. The year was 2005. MTV launched a new season of Making the Band. Young singers lined up for their shot at fame. Among them was Dawn Richard, who would later become part of Danity Kane. The cameras showed glamour, rehearsals, recording sessions, the raw chase for stardom. But behind the scenes, Dawn would later allege, the reality was far darker. Her lawsuit described coercion, exploitation, and manipulation woven into the very fabric of opportunity. She claimed that fame was used as bait, that what seemed like a golden ticket was in fact a leash. It wasn't just her. Other contestants and members spoke over the years of chaos, of manipulation, of broken promises. But Dawn's voice carried the weight of a lawsuit, and it attached itself to a name the world already knew. The reality show had ended long ago, but in the courtroom, its ghost came alive again. Chapter 6. Because not every victim wanted their name attached to the headlines. Some had careers, families, children. Some feared retaliation. And so, in filing after filing, appeared the words, Jane Doe. Each Jane Doe represented a life scarred by silence. One spoke of being a model in the early 2000s, invited to a party that turned into a nightmare. Another said she was lured as a teenager, trafficked across state lines, and left broken. Some of their stories dated back decades. Others were recent. Some were already time-barred, revived only by special legal windows like New York's Adult Survivors Act. Individually, each Jane Doe could be dismissed as a lone voice. Together, they formed a choir, a haunting chorus of women whose details, though they had never met, aligned too closely to ignore. Lawyers argued the patterns. Judges weighed the timelines. But the Jane Does pressed forward, determined to be heard, even without their names.